Resident Evil, a beloved survival horror franchise that throughout the years has had its ups and downs. Initially released in March of 1996, the first Resident Evil was about a group of elite soldiers or police officers surviving a desolate mansion that has suffered a bioweapons outbreak resulting in zombies. Originally intended to be a remake of a prior game released in '89 called Sweet Home, this game luckily took on an identity of its own in such a degree that it has shaped pop culture and has spawned off multiple other forms of media. This game series has just done something great. It had a successful run of films, even if they weren't top of the line. We don't really need more Alice ever. It has created comics. It has created novels. It has created spin-off games. And it has created manga, which is the subject of today's video. Most people that, are into Resident Evil, they are mostly into the movies and the games. Not many read the books or the comics, and, some know about it, yes. But absolutely no one really ever talks about the Resident Evil manga. So today we're going to be looking at Resident Evil Heavenly Island, or by its Japanese name, Biohazard Heavenly Island. So let's dive into this new outbreak. We begin the story seeing a masked individual conducting a voodoo ritual of some kind, celebrating in a scene. We're abruptly cut. There's a woman scantily clad, running, panting through this jungle-like forest. Behind her, an intense figure looms as it tracks her, a monstrous male figure with what appears to be an anchor and a fishing spear. But it isn't long before finally she trips up, and this creature, this entity, uses its harpoon-like fishing hook and just eviscerates this poor woman, leaving her for dead. And then as he leaves, we notice that her corpse has already begun to reanimate with a twitch. As the reanimation process begins, it seems to be the next day already, as a luxurious cruise ship arrives on the island and we are introduced to Takeru Tamanaga, also known as Ad in the English release of the manga for some reason. I don't know, but we're going to call him Ad because that's easier for me. We are quickly informed that this year's Idol Survival Competition, which features a clad assortment of swimsuit models, has included Japanese swimsuit models, which requires Ad to become the assistant director, as he himself is also Japanese. We are also quickly told that Ad has the hots for one of the Japanese supermodels known as Mayu-chan. On another part of the island, we learn that TerraSave has begun an investigation into strange mutated occurrences and has dispatched TerraSave NGO Claire Redfield herself to investigate these occurrences. For those of you who may be living under the proverbial rock in the ground, Claire Redfield is a Raccoon City survivor turned activist against zombie outbreaks and the corporations that cause them. By all means, she is a heroine of the franchise and is featured in Resident Evil 2 and the films Resident Evil Degeneration, and I believe she is also seen in Revelations 2 as one of the primary protagonists. And as this manga is a tie-in to Revelations 2, but also after the events of Resident Evil 6, that has yet to actually occur to my knowledge. We uncovered that she has uncovered a barracuda that has been mutated, which a fisherman had uncovered, which thusly inflicted a wound upon said fisherman who had uncovered the specimen. This infected barracuda is supposedly infected with some form of the T virus and reanimates and attacks Claire. Luckily, Claire, with her instincts of prowess and surviving zombie-related incidents, grabs a knife and sticks it to a wall, effectively killing the undead fish creature. Here we are introduced to Claire's current partner, Inez Diaco. I actually don't know who she is or what bearing she has had in past. I've honestly never heard of her till now. She may have been involved in a prior Resident Evil manga, and I would not have that information. Continuing on. We learn from Inez that their current goal, after Claire has dispatched this bioterroristic fish, is to meet up with a contact of theirs named Marlu, who they had created a bond with when they had taught about the dangers of bioterrorism in her high school some time ago. They have become close friends, and this also establishes that Inez has been a close partner to Claire for at least, a decent amount of time. They really know each other, and they have forged bonds together. So they are seeking out this Marlu to establish a connection on the islands. Finally, returning back to the story of Ad, he has encountered a problem as Julie, an actress, or at least an actress for the idol survivors, and we're going to call them models hereforth, and Model has alerted him that another model known as Coco has gone missing and has not returned. Well, he goes to alert the director, and here we are introduced to a small cast of characters. Of course, the aforementioned Ad and Julie. We are introduced and shown that the missing person is the woman from the very start of the video. Introduced to a man named Crazy Alexi, who is just our resident crazy guy, I assume. I don't know. I don't get it. He's just the crazy guy, I guess. And then we have the director. And they address that from hearing another character known as Laura-chan, that Coco has a bad drinking problem and she never returned the night prior, so that she may actually just be hungover and lost in the woods somewhere. However, we know that she's actually a undead nightmare creature waiting to have their chance to pounce on some human flesh out in the middle of a jungle somewhere, killed by some unknown monstrous assailant. We're now introduced to the survivor advisor of the series, Brown Anderson, which, as he's introduced, hearing the news that Coco is missing, the director is now intent on having a shot set up, and we learn that they are filming in a place known as Agwe Village. The director is adamant that they go ahead and get a very tense and exciting shot immediately. Finally, our A plot intersects with our B plot. Inez has met with Marlu Mabao, a village woman and friend of the TerraSafe members from when they had gave a lecture at her high school. We quickly learned that Marlu has seen that the filming crew has begun to film without permission. She quickly rushes in to tell them to stop, that if they film without permission, it's going to cause trouble for everyone. However, a very brash and arrogant looking white man slaps her to the side, and the director is confused, and he's like, "Oh, didn't we already get permission beforehand?" This causes Inez to strike out a punch, but stops before hitting this unknown assailant, which we learn his name is Mike D. Seaman, the producer of the Idol Survivors show. However, I really think they missed a very funny joke. They could have called him Mike B. Penis. I mean, not penis. Mike B. Seaman. That would have been funny. Mike B. Seaman. That would have been hilarious. But they named him Mike D. Seaman. So, honestly, they could have called him Penis, too, because he's a total dick already. So, anyway, continuing on. Our plot finally stops being separate and comes together to create a unified plot. Inez announces that, Mike D. Seaman's disregard for the culture and the people of the island is very impolite and disrespectful, and she really detests that mannerisms. She announces herself as a part of TerraSave, which leaves Mike D. Seaman confused as like, why the anti-bioterrorism organization? Like, what's up with that? And even Ad is like, why are they even here? With Inez being like, yeah, we're here on investigation, and while I'm here, you're basically gonna have to behave. like a real man. And then out of the shadows, or at least the jungle, comes this strangely dressed shaman-like figure who announces that they will be the ones to do the ritual and grant permission for the filming here. And of course, this is the same figure we seen at the very beginning, cutting the chicken open and letting everyone bask in its glorious blood. I mean, glorious blood of chicken blood. Everyone gets a little bit of chicken blood on them. It's not a ritual if you don't have chicken blood on you. The shaman figure expresses that they will be performing a ritual to welcome everyone to the village, and it would be very wise for them all to come and get spattered with chicken blood. Of course, while they're there, Ad recognizes what's going on. This is a voodoo ritual, and he states that if you believe in voodoo, then it can bring the dead back to life, and this became just a part of their belief system. Ad is very knowledgeable about this, and he instantly goes to thinking about zombie outbreaks. He's a real man after all, so his first thing is, hey, this could lead to danger. Voodoo ritual, let's just disrespect their belief and think of zombie outbreak, because that's what we're going for here. I mean, why else would TerraSafe be here, right, Ad? Like a total Chad that he is, Ad has Mayu-chan lit just all over him, like she is getting a little bit, terrified. So she hugs up closer, and this absolute Chad of an Asian man throws his fist up in resolute victory. He has achieved what he never thought possible. He has a girl on his arm that he has only fantasized about. And before we go further, let's address that they do have some history. He had participated in a previous shoot of hers, and she was very kind to him. So like the total alpha male he is, he's like, yeah, she was nice to me, so that means obviously she's gonna be my wife. Of course, however, this is actually Resident Evil and not some sappy love story. Good old Ad has went out mid-ritual because he needed to use the bathroom and has somehow got turned around and lost in the jungle. There he sees a figure stumbling through the brush. It catches him off guard, and when he shines his flashlight upon it, he sees the undead shambling corpse of the supermodel once known as Coco. Of course, Ad, being really good at his job, he instantaneously recognizes that this shambling corpse was once Coco-san, and he is taken aback. And this is the point he establishes. This is when the horror began. This is when the outbreak started. Hey guys, this is Protector Cross, of course, and I'm just stopping in to tell you that this is the end of the first 45 pages of Chapter 1, the start to Biohazard Heavenly Island. I know this is a departure from the typical manga we've been reviewing, which is mostly just shonen, and of course mostly just Dragon Ball content. I want to remind everyone, I'm not just a Dragon Ball content person. I encompass manga, books, and games, and even though I don't do them as much, I do want to branch out from Dragon Ball more and get into other mangas that I will enjoy or other people enjoy, and really spread my wings into those domains. So, I guess to answer the question, is Biohazard Heavenly Island good from the first chapter? I would say that it is a slow burn, and I think it starts off strong and really kind of like has the opposite of a rising action. We kind of get that rising action first, then we're given like all this filler BS that is establishing the story, and then at the end we get that rising action again of, hey, this is when the outbreak starts, and we're left on this cliffhanger. And I get the start is entice you. Hey, there's this monster, it's making zombies, what's gonna happen next? And then it's all this information to establish characters, which is okay, establishing characters, but most of it is just, oh yeah, this information is here. And then it goes off to, oh, you want to read the next chapter because the zombie outbreak is just now starting. I think it is going to be a great manga. I have read past the first chapter. I've read at least 2 to 3 chapters in, if I remember correctly. And it does get to a bit more interesting with the action sequences and the horror depictions. And I personally think this is going to be a good read. But I have a question for everyone who's watched this far. what do you think of Resident Evil or Biohazard Heavenly Island? Do you think this is going to be a good manga, and should I continue to make videos recapping the story of this manga? I personally am a huge fan of Resident Evil, and I know I haven't played it a lot in recent years. When I was a kid, I played the absolute hell out of Resident Evil, and I really enjoy the series, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, drop a like on the video. It really helps out. Be sure to also comment, answer the question, and I greatly appreciate the interaction. And also, don't forget, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. We are on our way to 400 subscribers, and I would like to knock that out of the way as soon as possible, and I can do that with your support. Now, remember, have a good day, have a good night, have a good whatever, and remember to always have some fun. This is Protector Cross signing off.